Alright, I'm JD. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe, please hit a like, and I'm doing final assembly of this very old pocket watch. I got it ready to go. The balance is nice and clean now. It's over here and reassembled. And I just need to put in the pallet fork, actually with the bridge, and that's in here, and then reassemble this. I'm going to do this, and I'm probably going to speed up the video. Alrighty then, here we're putting a very special lubrication. We're going to deal with the pallet fork and get that in place. The gear train was all put in, and I ran the gear train to make sure everything was spinning properly. And now I'm putting the bridge on there for the pallet fork. And when you screw that in, you just have to make sure the pivots are through the holes. Otherwise, you can crush the actual pivot on the pallet fork. So here I'm putting a screw in, and I move the back of the pallet fork a bit and look for the pivot coming through the jewel hole. So I'm moving it around and putting pressure on it with my tweezer, and then once I've got enough pressure on that with a tweezer, I know that it's in, and you can secure it with one screw. Then I put the other screw in and finalize it all. Just keep moving it to make sure it's moving right. And a little bit of oil on there, but I don't want too much, so I get the Rodico out to remove extra oil, which is great. And then I put the very special liquid on the jewels of the pallet fork, and that is the number. It's Birks 9415. Birks 9415 oil. It really improves the amplitude of the watch. Here I'm winding it up with a bench key, and I'm getting ready to put in the balance. And this was all cleaned. I cleaned that with alcohol, oiled the jewels, did everything. And I'm just hoping this whole thing actually runs. So I play with it for a while. I usually put pressure down. Now I'm going to put the screw in, and it'll sort of level the thing out while you put the screw in here. I got two thumbs. It's working, it's running, and it's actually running pretty strong. I used the existing mainspring, so I didn't have to purchase another one, but the amplitude is actually really good, so no issue there. And now what I need to do is go find myself a dial washer, I think. So I put the hour wheel in and get my set of dial washers, accidentally picked the exact right size, all an accident. And then I actually had to put the dust cover on, and I didn't videotape that, I forgot. And I also put the dial on, which was loosening the dial screws and just placing the dial on. So I did that, and I forgot to hit record. So there it is, running like a soldier. And again, that's a Swiss movement, and Henry Birks and Sons labeled on the movement, which is really interesting. These cases are a little bit of a pain to get the watch in, because the swing case gets in the way of you working it. And I noticed that back screw, if I tighten that back screw too much, it can stop the watch because it's putting too much pressure on that plate. So I actually backed it off just a bit so the watch wouldn't stop. See, the watch has stopped there. Like, what's going on here, man? You're not supposed to stop, but it sometimes happens with these watches, the way they're cased. So there we go. That'll be fine that way. And now I've got to put the hands on. So I clean up the seconds hand a bit. I didn't throw those into any cleaning fluid. I just leave them the way they are. But I cleaned them up with a brush here because I wanted to get rid of any corrosion on the bottom of the seconds hand. And these hands did not need that, but I just tapped them in Rodico to get rid of any dust before I place the hands into the watch. And then I'm going to do the hour watch, or actually do the seconds watch first and press that down. I usually use my tweezers to press that down, and I use the back of my tweezers later. I noticed that the hour hand was way too low. And here I'm answering an email from somebody going, "Why are you bothering me? Stop bothering me. I'm trying to put this watch together." And you can see how much time it took. So here we go. I've got my professional hand presser down here. So I want to make sure that that's level. I'm going to raise it up a little bit and then push that down nicely. And that doesn't need to be set at 12 because you're going to move the hand around later. And I had to jog that back a bit because there was just not enough space. So I actually increased the space between the hand and the dial. And then I put the second one on and lined that up, and that worked really well. And I'm looking at the gap between the two hands to make sure there's enough gap, and I'm looking at the bottom the hour hand to make sure it's going to ride past the seconds hand when it's ticking. So these old watches sometimes have personality. So there you go. I've done that now, and I'm just lubricating the hinge on the case and actually setting the time. Well, here I'm seeing what the coverage is, or how much space there is between the second hand and the hour hand. See if I have to jog it up a bit more, but it looks like it clears it without a problem. I'll know that in the morning when I let this run all night. And I'm just getting dust out of the case here before I close it down. And there we go, it's all closed down. And now I'm setting it, pulling it out, winding it. And I just recommend only turning the winding thing 20 times. It's like 20 half turns. So, and that usually works fine. I usually check the amplitude of the watch. There we go. Sorry it was sped up, but it was pretty good. And then I put that into the timing machine and test it to make sure everything else is okay. All right, we're done. This watch is done. This is a Birks and Sons Limited watch from Montreal, Canada. It's been around, the company's been around for over 150 years. The watch is running amplitude really strong. It's actually running above 300. I don't believe that, but that's what the system said. It's got a little bit of a flaw right there, but I'm not going to bother fixing that. It's got personality with that flaw. You don't take these vintage watches and try to make them perfect again, otherwise you're not a vintage watch. It's got case wear, and this is from the great-grandfather or great-great-grandfather maybe that wore this watch in anger and was working on a train or in the barn or wherever, but this you don't want to take away the personality from the watch. So it's a nice old watch. It's a size 16, I believe, pocket watch, and it's a Swiss movement in there, which is really interesting. So it's a Swiss movement, and I suspect the dial was printed by Henry Birks and Sons under contract to probably an American dial company. Anyway, it's working really well. We're just going to let it run for a while and make sure that there's no issue with the time. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll catch you next time. I got some interesting pieces coming up in the near future, very interesting pieces. So stay tuned to my channel. I think I said peaches, I meant pieces. Stay tuned to my channel and keep watching, and we'll see if we can fix some more watches for you.